This is DD India. You're watching the Defense Dynamics, and I'm Danveer Singh from New Delhi. The United States Air Force is showcasing two F-16s, two F-35 fighter jets in Aero India 2025. Russia has pitched in its Su-57 and the Swedish company Saab has come up with Gripen E fighter jet. These are not just simply modern fighter jets and planes, but they are manifestation of national power and geopolitics of their country of origin. So in this special episode, we not only cover the capabilities, but also the power play behind them. But before we do that, here are the global defense headlines. India's Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh and United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth agreed to work on 10 years framework to strengthen India-US defense partnership. The telephonic discussion focused on intelligence, logistics, operational and industrial engagement. The Indian Army has issued the request for proposal for procurement of new active protection system for its T-90 Bhishma main battle tanks. APS will enable soft kill, hard kill and counter unmanned aircraft system, enhancing battlefield survivability of its 1,000 tank fleet of T-90s. Cracking the whip against domestic private sector companies that are using Chinese components in drones being supplied to Indian armed forces, the Indian Defence Establishment has scrapped 3 contracts for induction of 400 logistics drones by the Indian Army. The idea is to ensure the military drones being acquired do not have any Chinese part or electronics as well as malicious codes. Iran has revealed unmanned naval version of Qahr F-313 stealth fighter it first presented in year 2013. Shown for the first time during an event to mark the entry into service of Iran's new Shahid Baman Bagheri drone carrier on 6 February were 2 subscale versions of Qahr manned fighter that were developed into prototype but not progressed into operational combat aircrafts. India and the United Kingdoms deepen their defense ties with next generation weapons collaboration at Aero India 2025. Thales UK and Bharat Dynamics Limited signed a contract to supply Star Streak manpads and launchers into the Indian Army, with deliveries set for later this year. The dwindling fighter strength of the Indian Air Force and making it up is a great challenge for Indian planners. Delay in supply of American jet engines for Tejas light combat aircraft has delayed the indigenous program considerably. Some say it is part of the US strategy to push its fighters into the Indian Air Force. Aligned with this, the Americans who have brought their F-35s the second time into Aero India are looking at Indian Air Force's mega multi-role fighter aircraft program. As we all know, that US government has already cleared F-21 and an upgraded version of F-16 aircraft of Lockheed Martin. As we all know, the United States government has already cleared the F-21, an upgraded version of F-16 aircraft of Lockheed Martin, and F-15EX and FA-18 of the Boeing for MRFA program. But the Indian Air Force is not so impressed. Now, multiple American officials in past have made it clear in private conversations with concern that F-35 is on the table as an offer to India. However, with Donald Trump administration, the things could change. Now it is to be seen whether there is any progress that is likely to take place in days ahead. Well, as claimed by the Americans, F-35 redefines air dominance, delivering an unparalleled advantage to America and its allies. As a decisive force multiplier, it stands as a most advanced and a connected fighter jet in the world, increasing pilot survivability and ensuring US and allied nations stay ahead of every threat. So let's check out the capabilities of this aircraft. The F-35's aligned edges, reduced engine signature, internal carriage of weapon, fuel, and embedded sensors all contribute to unique stealth performance. With stealth designed in from day one, F-35 has an unmatched ability to evade enemy detection and enter the contested airspace. So let's check this out on this video wall. So this is the aircraft with the edge is designed to evade the radar signature. These are the enemy radar waves that we can see, and this aircraft is very coolly evading them and moving. Now this is the aircraft's internal weapons bay. So these weapons are all inside the fuselage as it closes in, and it avoids radar signature. So this is how this aircraft gets stealthier, and this is supposed to be the stealthiest aircraft in the world present today. The Pratt & Whitney F-135 is the most powerful fighter engine in the world as claimed. With a top speed of Mach 1.6, the F-35 is a long-range supersonic fighter, even with a full complement of internal weapon and fuel. Now this is a Pratt & Whitney engine, and this powers the aircraft, pushes it to Mach 1.6. Super cruising max speed. This is the only aircraft that can do that, and with all its sensors, weapon bay and the fuel inside, it makes it aerodynamically very efficient and effective. So this aircraft beats it on that front as well. Advanced electronic warfare capabilities locate and track enemy forces, jam radars and disrupt their attack. So we'll understand this now. This is the aircraft. These are the sensors. This is the sensor that is there right in the nose of this aircraft. This is EOTS. This is called EOTS. It has got laser radar. It checks the ground for enemy movement and also designates laser to fire the laser designated weapons. So this is this EOTS that makes a big difference. Otherwise, in normal fighter aircrafts, this particular equipment is on the pod. So when this equipment is on the pod, it is not a stealth aircraft then, but once it is in the fuselage and right in the nose, then it becomes stealthier. And we can see this missile being fired and guided with the help of the laser. So this is what F-35 has to offer when it comes to such kind of technology. The F-35 serves as an information and communication gateway, sharing its operational picture with ground, sea and air assets. So for this particular aircraft has got ASA radar right in the nose. As you can see on this video wall, it has an ASA radar. It has got no mechanical features. It is all electronically controlled. So it does not give away any harmonics. It does not give any signatures for radar to pick. So now you can see in this video how it is trying to locate the threat in the air. So this particular equipment helps the aircraft to locate threat in the air, and whatever threat they are able to identify, it is transmitted to assets in air as well as on ground. And all this is displayed in front of the pilot over the helmet. So all the situational awareness is also very fantastic when it comes to this particular aircraft. F-35 helmet is one of the most advanced pieces of technology. The information a pilot needs to complete any mission, that is airspeed, heading, altitude, targeting information and warnings, is all projected on helmet's visor rather than the traditional heads-up display. This approach greatly reduces pilot workload and increases responsiveness. To understand that, this is a pilot that has just put the helmet over a camera to show how the graticule pattern looks. So this is how the information as far as the flight information is concerned, that is airspeed and things like that, altitude, and similarly the target information is also presented on the visor of the screen. Now here you can see the infrared part of the option. They switch on to infrared in case it is required, in case it is dark. When you are looking down, there are sensors that are looking down and it's darkness over there, so you can always switch on to your infrared mode. So these are the features that make this helmet so amazing. So now you can see the infrared image right behind me. The F-35 has the most advanced sensor suite available on any fighter aircraft in the world today, including the actively electronically scanned array radar, distributed aperture system, electro-optical targeting system, and advanced electronic warfare capabilities to locate, track enemy forces, jam their radars and disrupt their attacks. This is the aircraft which has gone airborne, and this aircraft is moving in stealth into the contested airspace. Enemy is trying to locate it with the radar, but it is unable to locate because of the stealth features. Now, as this aircraft is moving, the ASA radar, the EOTOS, and the DAS that is on the sides, they are all picking up picture in the airspace, in the contested airspace. And with the helmet, the pilot is able to see the complete view right in front of him and all around. Now, as they are moving, they see the enemy patrol coming, and this enemy patrol, they cannot see these aircraft. So what happens is that F-35 sees the enemy patrol, transmits it to U-2 node, and F-16s also flying nearby. So they evade the enemy threat, and simultaneously the aircraft is also giving messages to the assets on ground to get activated. It also suppresses enemy air defense. So this is how everything is taking place in all split seconds. So enemy fires a missile at the aircraft, aircraft's DAS system picks it up, gives the information to the ship down below, and the ship fires an anti-aircraft, anti-missile fire, firing and bringing down that missile. So this is how the complete battle is being fought, and the aircraft gets back to base. So this is the advantage of stealth, that enemy is unable to pick up the aircraft, pick up the target and attack. So this is the advantage of this aircraft because of its network centricity. This aircraft can also communicate with various assets all around. Despite the alluring price tag, F-35s hold reservations for the Indian Air Force. United States export restriction, past rejections of F-16s and F-18s due to perceived technological limitations and concerns about over-dependence on American systems raise strategic concerns. So what are the challenges involved? Let's try and understand that. In contrast, the Indian Air Force is currently staring at a massive lacuna in its capability with no fifth-generation stealth aircraft and simultaneously a rapidly dwindling squadron strength. After deploying its J-20 Mighty Dragon to all 5 theatre commands and expanding production, China unveiled another 5th-generation stealth aircraft, the J-35A, at its biannual Zhuhai Air Show in November of 2024. This aircraft also has a naval carrier variant. While India is still coping with the whirlwind expansion of China's fighter jet arsenal demonstrated by J-35A's debut, Beijing sprung a surprise and flew 6th-generation fighter prototypes on December 26 last year. The tailless supersonic stealth fighter aircraft has been designated as Chengdu J-36 and the Shenyang JXX or J-50 by military watchers who believe China could be the first country to induct a 6th-generation fighter jet in service. Though some military watchers have expressed skepticism about the aircraft truly being next generation. Others have noted that the 6th generation is a set of technologies that can be integrated now and mature over time. The yawning technological gap has triggered strong reaction from veterans, military experts, and military bloggers alike, with most of them imploring India to expedite the development of India's 5th-generation aircraft, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, or commonly known as AMCA. Some others have also called on the government to quickly acquire an advanced aircraft under the multi-role fighter aircraft or the MRFA, because the IAF would need numbers for a potential war with China or the two-front exigency that includes Pakistan. However, the situation remains grim because so far only 3 countries have operational 5th-generation stealth fighters. With China out of question due to their rivalry, India is left with just 2 options if it were to purchase a 5th-generation aircraft: the US F-35 Lightning II and the Russian Su-57 Phelon. Of these two, Su-57 has been suffering from production woes as Russia remains vested in a protracted conflict with Ukraine. So this practically leaves India with just the F-35 Lightning II. But there is a catch. The United States has not officially offered the aircraft to India. Instead, the manufacturer, US-based Lockheed Martin, has offered F-21 to India for the MFRA acquisition. The United States has not explicitly stated that it would be open to selling F-35 to India, partly because India uses a host of Russian-origin military equipment, particularly S-400 air defense systems. On several occasions, US has demonstrated that it is very protective of its F-35 Lightning II and very selective about which countries can have it. For example, Turkey was expelled from F-35 consortium due to its purchase of S-400. The F-35A is the US Air Force's highly advanced multi-role supersonic stealth 5th generation fighter aircraft. This aircraft can perform air superiority and strike missions and is capable of electronic warfare, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. A large section of military analysts in India believe that an acquisition of F-35 could give a boost to the Indian Air Force. That, however, might not be as simple as it sounds. For one, Lockheed Martin is aggressively pushing its F-21 to India. The aircraft, believed to be an upgraded variant of F-16, is tailored for Indian Air Force's unique requirements according to the manufacturer. Even if the United States were to grant an exemption and sell the F-35A Lightning II to India, it is unlikely to transfer technology for local manufacturing. This essentially means that a purchase of F-35 would not fit into India's Make in India scheme. However, considering a scenario where some extent of technology transfer has been approved, the local manufacturing is allowed, there would still be persisting troubles to include possible production challenges resulting from the aircraft supply chain dependencies as Lockheed sources parts for the F-35 from several nations, and any delay or disturbance in component delivery might affect the entire production process. In any case, India's dependence on foreign supplies will limit its localization capacity. It is pointed out that Indian Air Force would find it challenging to handle these complications since India might not have instant access to the replacement parts or vital technology needed for maintenance and upgrades. India is set to become the second country where Russia is showcasing the Su-57E stealth fighter. In November 2024, Russia's Su-57E, the export variant of stealth fighter, made an impressive debut at China International Aviation Aerospace Exhibition at Zhuhai. There has been indications of India's renewed interest in FGFA program. Perhaps the strongest hint of India's renewed interest in Su-57 comes from the fact that country has not shown interest in US F-35 stealth fighter despite growing stealth threat from across India's northern and the western borders. Nearly 2 decades ago, India and Russia signed a preliminary agreement to jointly develop a 5th generation fighter aircraft, FGFA, in October 2007. In early 2010, the two countries agreed to base the FGFA on prototype T-50 design, now the Su-57. The FGFA was intended to be a twin-seat variant of the Su-57, incorporating IAF-specific customization. The formal agreement for FGFA development was signed on December 21st of 2010 and included a preliminary design contract worth $295 million. Under the preliminary design contract, the Indian engineers underwent 20 training courses to familiarize themselves with the aircraft. This training was completed in July 2011. However, the project made no further headway, reportedly due to disagreements over costs, India's work share, and extent of technology transfer and delivery schedules. Reports also suggested that the Indian Air Force had concerns regarding the inability of the aircraft to supercruise with its Stage 1 engine and its lack of all-aspect stealth. Due to these reservations, India suspended its participation in the FGFA project while keeping options open to acquire the aircraft at a later date. In July 2018, India's then Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman told the press, "It has been conveyed to the Russians that they could go ahead with developing the fighter without us, but the option remains and we could well go back at a later stage and ask to buy the fighter." Since then, Russia has addressed many of the concerns cited by the Indian Air Force during the aircraft's development and operational testing. The latest Su-57 variant is now equipped with AL-51 Stage 2 engines, which facilitates supercruise. The new engine produces 11 tons of dry thrust and 17.5 tons in afterburner, compared to the earlier AL-41F1 engine, which generated 9 tons of dry and 14.5 tons in afterburner. The significant increase in thrust allows the Su-57 to supercruise at speed up to Mach 1.6. Some Russian sources claim that Su-57 is now the fastest supercruise fighter capable of sustained flight near Mach 2 without using afterburners. Additionally, the Stage 2 engines enhances the aircraft's stealth capabilities. It features a serrated exhaust nozzle, also known as chevron nozzle, which modifies the temperature distribution and shape of the exhaust plume. This design reduces the fighter aircraft's infrared and radar signature, making it harder to detect and track. Russia is already developing a twin-seat variant of the Su-57 to meet its pilot requirements as well as for loyal wingman UCAV operations. If India chooses to reboot the FGFA program, it would benefit from this twin-seat variant without having to fund its development. Since India put its FGFA participation on hold, Russia has not only improved the Su-57 but also operationally tested the stealth fighter first in Russia and later in Ukraine. Additionally, Russia has completed the development of range of weapon systems designed to fit the aircraft's internal weapons bay. Any strategic weapon sale comes with geopolitical underpinnings, and such is the case with both the American F-35 and Russian Su-57. The United States would want India to purchase F-35 fighter jets primarily to strengthen their strategic partnership, bolster India's military capabilities against regional threats, potentially reduce India's reliance on Russian military equipment, and gain access to a larger Indian market for advanced F-35 technology by integrating India into F-35 program. However, concerns regarding technology transfer and India's existing Russian defense systems could hinder such a sale. India is a major player in the Indo-Pacific region, and having them equipped with advanced F-35s would significantly enhance US security interests in the area. The F-35 offers cutting-edge stealth technology and advanced capabilities, allowing India to significantly upgrade its air force against potential adversaries. Interoperability in other strategic factors. By using same fighter jet as the United States, India would be able to seamlessly integrate with US forces during joint military exercises and operations. With China rapidly developing its own fifth-generation fighter jets, the United States could see India's acquisition of F-35s as a crucial factor in maintaining a balance of power in the region. For India, Su-57 fighter jet holds significant geostrategic importance as it offers a cutting-edge fifth-generation stealth capability, allowing India to counter growing regional threats, particularly the China's advanced J-20 stealth fighter, while also providing a pathway for potential technology transfer and joint production, thus strengthening India's domestic defense manufacturing capabilities under the Make in India initiative. This could significantly enhance India's air superiority and military posture in the Indo-Pacific region. With China rapidly developing its own stealth fighter fleet, the Su-57 provides India with a comparable capability to maintain strategic balance in the region. Acquiring Su-57 further strengthens India's long-standing defense partnership with the Russians, providing access to advanced military technology. Just like the F-35s, the Su-57 can significantly upgrade Indian Air Force's capabilities, enabling it to operate effectively against modern threats. This has potential concerns, as well as acquiring the Su-57 could potentially trigger sanctions from United States under countering America's adversary through the Sanctions Act (CAATSA). Some concerns exist regarding the long-term reliability and maintenance of Russian-made aircraft compared to the Western counterparts. Overall, Su-57 presents a viable option for India to bolster its air power, counter regional threats, and enhances strategic autonomy in the Indo-Pacific region, particularly if coupled with technology transfer and domestic production capabilities. Having seen and heard all this, I have my own take on these foreign versus indigenous fifth-generation fighter debate. Many cast a serious doubt on the potential acquisition of either American F-35 or the Russian Su-57 fighter jets by the Indian Air Force. And that is not for no reason. In my opinion, procuring either aircraft would be a detrimental move for the Indian air power. Instead, prioritizing the indigenous Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft AMCA program would be in India's long-term interest. There are significant issues with both F-35 and the Su-57 in context to India's defense needs. India had previously withdrawn from Su-57 program, citing concerns about aircraft's design and capabilities. A critical flaw of Su-57, according to experts, is the compromised stealth capabilities due to exposed engines, making it vulnerable to enemy radars, though the Russians claim to have mitigated this fundamental flaw by redesigning the exhaust and putting the chevron nozzles. Regarding the F-35, the challenges of integrating its aircraft into Indian Air Force's diverse fleet, which includes a mix of Russian, French and indigenous aircraft, is a big issue. The F-35 is designed to operate within the NATO framework, relying heavily on interoperability with American air assets and data network. This presents a significant hurdle for the Indian Air Force, as its existing systems are largely incompatible with the NATO standards. The incompatibility would severely limit F-35's effectiveness, as its strength lies in highly integrated, data-centric combat environment that the Indian Air Force presently lacks. Hence, the central argument is that India should focus on its domestically developed AMCA program. To ensure success of AMCA program, bring the program under direct supervision of the Prime Minister's office. This would provide high-level political and administrative support, streamlining decision-making and resource allocation to accelerate the AMCA's development. The challenge of balancing immediate operational needs with long-term goal of strategic autonomy is enormous beyond doubt. While the foreign fighters like F-35s and Su-57 offer proven capabilities, they come with significant cost, both financially and in terms of dependence on foreign nations. The AMCA, on the other hand, represents customized solution, albeit one that demands substantial investment in time, technology and resources. With this, we come to the end of this episode. See you next week with new stories and their analysis. Thanks for watching, and do post your comments on social media with #DD with Danveer. Goodbye and take care.